Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. And on today's episode, I want to make up for missing Tuesday. So I have Tristen Robins, who is currently dominating to start the AHL with his 3 goals in 7 games so far. So I have Tristen Robins on, kind of catch up since the last time we talked to him. Talk about his last couple seasons with the Blades, and of course now starting with the Barracuda. So all that and more today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, or in today's case, your second listen, because double episodes for you today. And I have Tristen Robins on. He was actually the first guest, prospect guest of Locked On Sharks way back in December 2020, where, he just been drafted a couple months prior. And so I wanted to kind of catch up with him, see what's happened since the last couple, years, talk about the Blades, talk about his start with the Barracuda. Enjoy my conversation with Tristen Robins. All right, and now we bring in, for his second time, Tristen Robins of the San Jose Barracuda. How's it going today, buddy?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming back on. So the last time you were on, I had to go back, check the tape, December 2020. Has the shock of being drafted worn off yet?
You know what? No, it's been a great couple of years so far. I'm just excited for the future.
Yeah. So we'll play a little catch up here since the last time we talked to, a lot of stuff has happened between then. So let's kind of rewind here. After we talked to you last time, you got to play in the bubble, 16 games, which I'm sure was a little weird. I think you had a shoulder injury, if I remember correctly, but you did have 23 points. What was that kind of experience like, especially with how chaotic everything was and trying to kind of cobble together hockey at that time?
I think a good word to sum it up would be chaotic. Like you said, I don't know. There was good days and bad days in the bubble. No one really likes being locked up and stuck in one spot, but it was just fortunate for us that we got to continue playing hockey, in the times that we had there. So I think that was what we kind of kept our minds on. Everyone in the bubble there was just happy to play and have a season instead of just sitting at home.
And then after that, you actually had a real season last year. Pretty casual, 33 goals, 45 assists in 62 games last year. What did that kind of season with the Saskatoon Blades mean for you as your first real season with after getting drafted?
It was awesome. And I think even just going back from my overage year, I was, upset at the time, but I think it was one of the best things for me. I got another year to develop, another year to play in a league that I'm very confident in. And also got to spend another year with my friends and family back there in Saskatoon. So I think it was a great year. Unfortunately we didn't go too deep in the playoffs, but it was super fun.
Yeah, I know you had an injury. You came back for the playoffs, but you were not your normal self for the playoffs there, right?
No, battling through some injuries there in the playoffs. It was just tough timing.
And then you did get to wear the C. What was that like, kind of putting that C on for the first time?
It was a huge honor, to be a part of that organization for 4 years. I was one of the longest standing guys there. So it was a big honor, and I really took pride in leading that team, and wanted to lead by example.
And then you did get a little bit of a taste of AHL hockey in the weird COVID year, played a couple games. What did that kind of mean for you, coming back? I talked to Brendan Coe a couple months ago, and he talked about how big it was for kind of developing his confidence. And what did even that little taste of AHL hockey mean when you went back?
It was a great experience, even just to spend a couple of months there, just to see how the pros carry themselves, how they train, all that. So I think I think I took a lot of that back to junior and tried to implement all those things into my game to make myself better and also try to lead the younger guys on the right path.
All right. So this year, you get to development camp. You've kind of run through this before. How was development camp for you this year? Kind of how would you kind of sum it up?
I think it was a lot of fun. They changed it up a bit. We did a 3-on-3 tournament, which I think everyone really enjoyed. So
It's fun to watch.
quite a lot of fans there, which was even better. But it was all in all, it was awesome. We had a week long of time reuniting with some of the staff members and the boys, and I can't say enough good things about that 3-on-3 tournament. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that they're going to make that the thing going forward. You got the Marchman Trophy that they're going to hand out at the end. The cool picture of Brandon Coe like holding it over his head, it was pretty neat. But like for camp, who did you room with during that time?
I was rooming with Cardwell, actually, Ethan Cardwell, and
Gotcha.
yes, but we were on different teams. But it was good to get to chat with him and catch up again, and yeah,
Yeah, he's starting to light it up over there in the this year in the O right now. So I think he's at like almost 2.5 points a game right now.
doing really good.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, with development camp, the Sharks big changes this year off season. What was like kind of meeting some of the new guys? And yeah, I don't even think at the time Quinn had been hired yet. I think it was a lot of new faces, right?
Yeah, it was wild. I guess kind of just sitting at home in the summer because that's kind of when it all happened. Seeing all these new names popping up, new hires, new signings, and I didn't really know many of the names, so it was good to put some faces to names coming here in the fall, and it's been great so far.
Yeah, I mean, and then of course, the John McCarthy's now the Barracuda coach. He hires two WHL guys. That kind of makes you feel nice. I know there's a little bit of a click between like the WHL guys, the OHL guys, and like the college guys. Is it just kind of like, oh yeah, look, see, the WHL is the best league?
You know what? I think that's always just a competitive argument
Mhm.
between the Canadian leagues. But yeah, I don't know. I for sure would have to go on the WHL side, being a little biased. But
It's definitely the toughest of the three. I will. It
I,
is.
I absolutely agree with that one, 100%.
Yes, it is definitely the toughest of the three. So, but all right, guys, before we continue with Tristen Robins and we start talking about the Barracuda, playing with the mix of all the veterans and the young guys, do you want to take a quick break? Let you guys know about our friends over at Built Bar. You guys know Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar on the market. And you know why? Because they have new flavors all the time. They have a cookie dough topper, a coconut brownie bar, a coconut brownie topper. What is all this craziness? Or if that's not your thing, get ready for the holidays here. They have a white chocolate peppermint granola. So you get the nice like white chocolate and peppermint. Start getting ready for the holidays here. They have a candy cane brownie puff. They've got a bunch of new flavors. So go check them out at built.com. They're revolutionizing nutrition, and it's all these bars. They're 100% real chocolate, and there's protein in them. 17 grams of protein, and shockingly low amount of sugar and calories with 130 calories. So go to built.com. You got to try these out. You get 15% off your order right now by using the code LOCKEDON15 at built.com. Again, LOCKEDON15 at built.com. Save yourself some money. All right, and then of course, with camp and stuff, there's a lot of talk about Eklund and Bordeleau, and rightfully so. There's a lot of hype around those guys, but are you kind of like, hey, I don't want to be the forgotten guy here? Being the second pick of the second round, do you ever feel kind of like, oh, I can play with these guys too, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, I try not to wrap myself up in all that social media stuff. So I really stay away from it and just try to, keep on my own page and doing my own thing and taking things day by day and working as hard as I can. So it's exciting to be with those guys, but at the same time, I'm right there.
You got to run your own race, right? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, you're doing just fine, buddy, in the race. So, all right, so let's kind of get into preseason a little bit. You got to play a couple preseason games with the big club. I know you played in the Vegas game in Vegas. What was that like? I mean, I know it's preseason, but it's still NHL hockey. Is it you just kind of like, wow, there's Jack Eichel, and that I know you talked about being a little starstruck at the thought of playing against Sidney Crosby. I mean, Jack Eichel, pretty good at himself, right?
Absolutely, but I mean, Vegas is Vegas, man. Like it was pretty much a sold out game for preseason. The crowd and warm up was insane. It was just loud, electric. I've never been in an arena or even been to a game, watched or played that was anything close to that. So I think the experience there was just phenomenal. And out of all the preseason games, I'm really happy I got to play that one.
Yeah, we don't want to talk too good about Vegas. Like, I might have to cut that out, but no, I mean, from what I hear, everyone says like the Vegas experience is pretty cool. So
the atmosphere there is insane.
okay, good to know. I'm scared to go and get like, yeah, I talk too much to Vegas fans, and then we know how that would go. And then of course the Sharks went to Prague. Were you a little bummed out that you didn't get to go to Prague?
I mean, always.
Yeah.
You never go try out for a team to get cuts. So
Yeah.
there's always a little bit of disappointment. But at the same time, it's a long road ahead of me, and I got lots of time. So I'm just excited for the future and gonna keep doing what I can, working as hard as I can, and hopefully get my name called up and just keep going from there.
I mean, but just like the experience, it seemed like everyone had a blast at
Yeah,
Prague.
it would have been a blast. Europe's always a blast. I saw they went to a couple soccer games, and just had some good times over there.
Yeah. So I know it's cool. I really like what the NHL is doing with the, good way to grow the game. Weird for the schedule where it's like the Sharks, like they had the regular season games and there's still preseason games going on. Like the rest of a little weird with that. And also watching a game at like 11 a.m. on a Friday. Like, come on, guys, we got to do a little bit better with the scheduling here. But yeah, it seemed like it was really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Let's get into the Barracuda team. So you've played a couple games, I think, where you guys are 7 or 8 games right now so far into the season. How do you think the team's coming together? It seems like there's a really good mixture of veteran guys and then also a lot of the rookies and young guys like that. How would you kind of talk about the team right now?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's actually a huge mix and a big difference in age groups.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young guys and a lot of older guys, but I think we've been gelling together really well. It's been a really great group of guys, and I think we're just continuously finding more and more chemistry as each day goes along. We've been playing good. We haven't had a couple of the bounces we wanted to the last few games, but we've been playing hard, and I'm excited to keep playing games with these guys.
Is Aaron Dell just like, I'm too old for this. I don't want to deal with you kids right now.
No, he's young at heart, man. He's been awesome. Him and I usually chat every day, and he's great personality.
Having a kid will kind of brings you back a couple, as someone who has 2 kids, it does kind of bring you back a little bit down in the like young at heartness. So yeah. And then but yeah, like with the veterans and stuff, like this Cuda team is way deeper than I've seen in a long time. And you're seeing that with like even some of the healthy scratches. What does that mean for a guy like you who's basically had your a lineup slot guaranteed for you your entire life, and now there's like you're seeing guys like Brandon Coe, Gushin, healthy scratch. Like, what does that kind of mean for that like everyday attitude and mentality?
It makes it a very competitive atmosphere. They're your teammates, but you're still ultimately competing for spots. Everyone on that team is ultimately still competing for a spot on the Sharks. So it keeps things very competitive, but also very exciting. It just keeps you hungry and wanting more.
Yeah. So currently you have 3 goals and an assist so far this season. Why do you think you've been so successful to start the season?
I think I've been, playing a pretty hard game. I've been getting inside a lot, spending a lot of time in front of the net. And I think that's really been working out for me. And just, trying to do the little pro details better. And I think there's still a lot for me to improve on. But I think I've been playing a better defensive game, which has been allowing me to play less time in the D zone. Just bearing my opportunities when I get them.
I know you said you enjoy playing center, but you've been kind of playing more wing. Is this something right now just because there's a kind of a glut of centers, or they want to transition you to wing, or you just kind of wherever the coach puts you?
It's wherever the coach puts me, whatever will give me ice time and game time. So I'm not too picky in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I do prefer playing center just because I like taking faceoffs, but ultimately whatever will get me ice time and opportunity. So I will not be picky.
Yeah, no, not especially with all the talent on the Please just get me out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you kind of moved around. You played a fourth line role a couple games ago. Then you were up on the first line. I know you've also played with Eklund and Bordeleau. I'm sure the Eklund Bordeleau Robins line was a ton of fun. We just let the children go play and have fun. How was that line?
It was fun. It was, yeah, I think there's a lot of like memes and funny comments going around about us three, but yeah, no, it was good. I like playing with those two. They're both extremely skilled players, and they move the puck well, and they're both very fast. So yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, especially a guy like you who can finish like nobody's business. Having Eklund and Bordeleau who can just create, and then it's like, oh yeah, I can just finish these shots. So must be nice.
That's kind of easy if they give you backdoor tap ins. They'll look at you funny if you miss them. So
Yeah, they're like, oh, come on, I set you up, man. Like, what? Yeah. All right, guys, before we continue up with Tristen Robins and kind of talk about playing on the Sharks this year, maybe, question mark. Let's take a quick break, let you guys know about Locked On Sports Today. So thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, go check out Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. So you played a couple games in Tech CU. What do you think of the new arena now that you've kind of played in there? I know that before they played in the SAP Center, and I from what I hear, is just way too big for the Barracuda and playing on one of the weird like little rinks and stuff. But how's Tech CU been so far?
Tech CU's been great. I actually never got the chance to play a Cuda game at SAP. But it's been awesome. It feels a lot more full, obviously, because the rink's about half the size, and I think it's perfect for the Cuda. They get a good crowd in there to make it feel pretty on top of you, which is great. And I think if we keep winning games, the more fans will come.
Yeah, I was there for Saturday's game, and such a fun experience. I cannot recommend people enough to go to a Cuda game. It's such a blast right now. Speaking about Saturday's game, of course, the line brawl. Have you seen something like that before?
I've seen a line brawl, but I've never seen one before the game started.
Is there did you know this was going to happen? Is there like a weird energy before the game? Is it kind of like everyone's a little bit on edge? Or was it just like, oh, the puck's about to drop and the Jasper Weatherby's swinging at dudes?
No, we obviously had a bit of a chip on our shoulder because I was going into the second game of the 2-game series that we had. First game wasn't the outcome we wanted, but no, that was like not pre-orchestrated or anything. That was just like raw emotion that you guys saw. Nothing was planned. It just kind of happened. So that was even crazier. Well, actually, you know what is even crazier is each side had 5 guys taken out of the game. So we had 3 lines at the most, and then there's a couple penalty troubles that we got into. So there was one point where we had like 4 guys on the bench, and we're all looking at each other. And there was a joke during the game. It was like, okay, slide right, because usually there's not a lot of room on the bench, but now there's only 4 guys, so you could kind of sit spread out if you want.
Yeah, you got your legs up and everything.
Yeah, it was one of the craziest games I've actually ever been a part of.
I mean, you part of you is like, oh man, it sucks that all these guys get kicked out. But then at the same time, you're like, wow, I'm getting a ton of ice time tonight because you're only rolling 3 lines. And there was a lot of penalties. So I know you guys had a bunch of power plays in that game as well. So it's like, oh cool, I'm gonna play like 25 to 30 minutes tonight, right?
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, it was a fun game. It was a fun game. So definitely, yeah, I was talking to and I just look up and it's like, oh, this is how we're gonna start this game. This is fun. So yeah, definitely a fun game. Again, don't expect a line brawl every game, but you should definitely go to a Cuda game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So after that, you get back after the game's done, and I'm sure you're exhausted, but like, is everyone just like, or even like, I guess between peers, like, oh my God, what happened? Like, type of thing with that, or?
Yeah, I think a lot of us were like on the bench, fired up because it's happening. But at the same time, when everyone got tossed out, we are looking shoulder to shoulder. We're like, what's going on right now? What's going to happen? So it was just a bit of a weird atmosphere. Honestly, felt like it was like a fever dream. Like that game was just so crazy. and so different from any other game I've been a part of. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird, really weird.
All right, I'm going to get you out on this last question. Are you getting any NHL time this year?
Am I?
Yep.
I'm betting on myself.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, not to play the numbers game, but like, I assume Eklund and Bordeleau are probably kind of the top tier guys. But the way you're playing right now, you're going to be right there with those guys. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, buddy. You're going to be playing NHL games this year.
Thank you so much.
All right. I assume though, as soon as you're calling the entire family to come down, right?
Well, the whole clan.
The whole clan. Yes, it's gonna be. Yeah, there's gonna be. Yeah, half of Blades fans. Everybody's gonna be coming down for that, right?
It's Blade City.
Yes, there we go. All right, Tristen, thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to watch the Cuda this weekend. Take on the Wranglers, so we're pretty excited for the brand newish team with them moving from Stockton. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, buddy. So stay healthy. We'll hope to see you. Hope to see you in the NHL soon, buddy.
I do. Thank you for having me on.
All right, appreciate it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Tristen Robins. Good to catch up with him. He is definitely feeling very confident about where he's at and where the Cuda's at, and I think he's going to be. I think it's going to be is probably Bordeleau and Eklund, but I would not be surprised if Tristen Robins plays NHL games this year, especially with the way he started this season. So, yes. Good for him. I'm glad to see that he's doing well, especially in what's going to be a pretty loaded draft class for the Sharks here with this 2020 draft class. So good to see him playing as well as he's playing so far to start the season. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys are following along Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Locked On Sharks. I'm going to continue to try to get more of these drafts or of the Barracuda guys. Try to get some more of the prospects on the podcast and stuff. So make sure you guys are following along for that. And of course, following along for the games, doing clips, making memes, all the fun stuff. So you can also listen wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, you name it. That's where you know where to listen. And watch on YouTube as well. Follow me on Twitter at myfryhole. And then be back tomorrow with a breakdown of the Sharks-Panthers game as well. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that. And until then, bye, friends.